Hey guys, it's Charlie. It is December 4th, Friday, and the war on reality has begun in full, all-out frontal assault. Okay, everybody was expecting a bogus number. Everybody's expecting cheery green shoots type speak coming out of Washington because the most powerful man on the planet, Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke, is having a tough time in front of the Senate on his confirmation hearings. But I don't think anybody expected the ridiculous report that came out today. This must be what it was like to live in the Soviet Union, and the only information you got was from Pravda. And it was nothing but the Politburo is wonderful, they're beautiful, they're, living gods on earth. I mean, that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like we're in. I don't even know where to turn for real information anymore at this point. ADP's report comes out 2 days ago and says we're going to lose 169,000 jobs. Usually the government report is within striking distance of that. And I thought it would be this time as well, because the continuing claims report came out 2 days ago, and it stated that 457,000 people lost their jobs or filed for first-time unemployment claims last week. That was a little bit down from the week prior, but it was a three-day week because of the holiday in there. Continuing claims, people who are on their second, third, fourth extensions, that number rose to 323,000, and 46 states reported an increase in claims. So all the indicators were that the ADP report was going to be somewhat accurate, and we were going to see another number that the mainstream media could latch onto and say, look, the trend is our friend. It's heading down. But even I was blown out of the water this morning when I got up and read 11,000 jobs were lost. The unemployment rate went from 10.2 to 10. Utter assault, war on reality. That's all this is. Warren, in his video earlier this week, nailed it, 100% correct. There's going to be a propaganda attempt put out there so that the Federal Reserve can try to drain liquidity out of the system, raise interest rates. And then what's going to happen when that occurs? The depression is truly going to hit Main Street. You and I are truly going to feel it when your credit card balances all of a sudden start to go to 5% minimum payment instead of 2.5%, or when you go from 8% to 28% on your credit cards. This country is about to go through the worst of the worst, in my opinion. Senate confirmation. Yesterday, Senator Bunning ripped into Lord of the World Ben Bernanke, called out every failure that the Federal Reserve was responsible for before this crash, not seeing it coming, and then the absolute looting of the nation to the buddies of the owners of the Federal Reserve, the Wall Street too big to fails, who are all sitting pretty, sitting free and clear, sitting on the largest bonuses in their history. Even Timothy Geithner today on Bloomberg says these banks would have failed if it wasn't for the taxpayers of the United States government. Okay? And now we're supposed to believe that everything's healthy, everything's happy. Nothing has changed with these banks. Their assets are just as toxic. The only thing that has changed is their liabilities have been switched from them to you and I. We are the ones responsible for it. And as long as we believe that the recovery is underway, we're not going to make calls to our senator. We're not going to make calls to our congressman. We're not going to take to the streets and demand that Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke, that Chris Dodd, that Barney Frank, that these co-conspirators are held accountable for the economic implosion of this country. That's what's going on. The New York Times put out an article today highlighting the assault that Ben Bernanke took yesterday by some congressmen or some senators that actually showed some backbone, that showed one iota of integrity and responsibility for the office that they hold. But it just highlights what had happened, that which you've probably seen on television or on YouTube. But what I found to be the most important paragraph in this story goes like this. Mr. Bernanke, a former professor at Princeton University and a Republican, was appointed by first-term Fed chairman by George W. Bush, but he also forged a close relationship during the financial crisis, past tense, with President Obama, who nominated him for a second four-year term. This message now goes out to the 54% of this country that elected Barack Obama, okay? And you know what? I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent. I voted for Ron Paul. He made the ballot in my state. When Obama got into office, I was hoping Gitmo would close. I was hoping the troops would come back from Iraq. I was hoping we would be done in Afghanistan. I was hoping we'd quit spending $1 billion a day in these countries that absolutely have no threat to us, to you and I. None of that could be further from the truth. None of that could be even close to the reality of what's happening. The 54% of the people who hate Bush, hate the name Dick Cheney, who voted for the anti-Bush. Do you realize now that you're taking the anti-Bush's word for the fact that an appointee of the George W. Bush administration, a lover of corporate America, a lover of the banksters on Wall Street, is now going to be nominated again and, in fact, going to be confirmed to head the Federal Reserve once again so he can continue the looting of this country. It makes me sick. It makes me sick to my stomach to make these videos when I talk about the same people over and over again. You know, Chris Dodd, Barney Frank, Ben Bernanke, Tim Geithner. These people have destroyed this country. And what's happening? Nothing. Not a damn thing. You're believing the lies coming out. Wake up, America. The war on reality is in full swing. That's all I got.